Italian Wine Podcast. Chin Chin with Italian wine people.
Hello, this is the Italian Wine Podcast. My name is Monty Waldin. My guest today is Hayo Loacker from the Loacker Winery in whereabouts? Whereabouts are you?
Right now I'm in Bolzano in South Tyrol.
Okay, and you could also be in Montalcino. Okay, so just tell us about the company, starting maybe in the north, and then with Brunello second, Montalcino second.
Okay, that's a quick overview because the story would be very long. My father started in 79, bought a little property here in the north, right in the middle of the Alps, and 3 little hectares. For a long time, we stayed at that level. Then in the 90s, we started investing still in between the north and afterwards even in Tuscany. 96, we bought a 100-hectare big property next to Montalcino, Corte Pavone. And 3 years later, we bought another property down to Maremma, which is called nowadays Val di Falco. So we are producing wines on 3 territories: Südtirol, Montalcino, and Maremma. And we're working around about 50 hectares of vineyards today.
Okay, so let's start with the Südtirol. How big is the vineyard there?
Yeah, the Weingut Loacker, where we call it, which would be the mother estate of the 3 wine estates. We're working today on 7 hectares of vineyards, mostly around the hill of Santa Giustina, which is quite close to the famous hill of Santa Maddalena. Both hills are very close to the bigger town, the biggest alpine town, Bolzano. We have a little small vineyards in the Valle di Sarco, where we are producing some Gewürztraminer and Pinot Grigio. Our main production here in South Tyrol is Lagrein and Santa Maddalena, which is a blend of mostly Fernace or Schiava, the Italian name, and a little bit of Lagrein still. The vines are very old, from the late 50s, early 60s, so quite a huge stocks of vine roots. So it gives always the wines a real authentic touch of our autochthonous variety we have here. Furthermore, we are producing a little bit of Sauvignon, Chardonnay in the whites, and some Merlot and some Cab as well.
So I'm going to ask you, as we don't often have guests from Alto Adige, can you give us some suggestions for food and wine pairings with those autochthonous grape varieties that you mentioned?
Sure. The 3 autochthonous varieties we have, which would be the Gewürztraminer for the whites, and the Lagrein and the Fernace or Schiava for the reds, are mostly locally combinable to local food, especially the Fernace, which is a very easy drinking, lighter kind of red wine. Even in the modern style, we can reach thicker and more full body wines. So you would combine it to our local food, which would be the knödel, kind of dumplings we make here, especially in South Tyrol, made with specs. With speck. And even the simple speck with bread is perfect to the Fernace. The Gewürztraminer is, as you might know, as a very aromatic, so it's perfect for an appetizer or for Indian or exotic kitchen. And the Lagrein is nowadays made much different as 20 years ago. And now it's a full-bodied, mostly in small barrel aged red wine, so combinable, perfect to game, which we find a lot here in our region, game like deer or something else. Yeah, this is more or less the wines we make. Especially the other wines, they are renowned in every part of the world.
And in terms of your markets for your wines from the north, we always have this impression that because it's the region is so beautiful and obviously touristy, is most of your sales locally, or are you selling those wines internationally as well?
Good questions. The white wines they are very well sold in whole of Italy. The Alto Adige white wines have a very good market in every edge of Italy because of their uniqueness, a lot of freshness, very aromatic. The reds have another market, maybe not that much in Italy, but the southern part of the German speaking countries like Bavaria, Austria, even Switzerland, they appreciate that kind of taste, that kind of wine. So it's a good market for those wines. The Lorraine, it's so special, so individual. So we have a market in Australia if you want. We have a small market in the US, but mostly obviously is sold here in the region because the region is very touristic, and tourism is a very important force for sale for these kinds of wine.
Okay, the next question is terrain for the vineyards. Are you on very steep vineyards, or is it easy farming? What is the terrain like?
Yeah, the terrain is concerning the terrain next to Bolzano is an old morainic terrain. It was formed 10 to 20,000 years ago from the last glacier time. So it's morainic would mean a lot of sand. It's mostly a sandy, limey soil, but on a medium to very high steepy exposition. So imagine that we have to manage all the vineyards, especially in the steeper areas on terraces, because the erosion would be too big. The erosion problem would be too big. So 80 85% of the vineyards are all on terraces. Terrain is sandy limey, as I said, so it has to be irrigated. Very special thing for Alto Adige. Imagine that Bolzano is one of the hottest town very often in Italy during summertime, even if we are in the north of Italy. 36, 38, 40 degrees in July, August is very common. So without irrigation and a rainfall maybe missing for a week or 10 days, we have definitely to irrigate very on a quality level, obviously. But the kind of soil, the kind of terrain, and the kind of microclimate around Bolzano gives us or forces us to irrigate, giving quality to the wine.
So should we switch now to Montalcino?
Yeah, why not? Little story, Montalcino. Okay, Corte Pavone was born in 96 as my father wanted to retire in Tuscany, and he was looking for a small property. I found it, but it was a little bit bigger than he was looking for, right in front of Montalcino. The one who never ever comes to Montalcino see it on its entire expansion, right from the Fortezza. Very beautiful located. At that time, only 4 hectares, and we planted new vineyards. And today we have 19 hectares of vineyards in Corte Pavone. Why my father changed his mind? I guess because I was right at that time at the end of my university studies in Dijon in Burgundy, and was ready to take over or to reinvent me in a new experience in down to Tuscany. It was a great challenge at that time, obviously for me. And so we decided together to invest in the first period in the vineyards, new vineyards, in the second period in new cellars, third period in new markets because we had to sell the huge amount new wines, new bottles. Remember that 92 years, just 3 years later, we added 22 hectares in the Maremma. So yeah, we grew from 4 to 40 hectares in about 5 to 6 years. Yeah, in 2010, my father left for Austria, where he started his own small project, which in the meanwhile, he finished already. He came back last year to Corte Pavone. From 2010, I took over the whole properties and started a new great project, which I call it the 7 Dynamic Brunello Crew. which would be them for for another 2-3 hours, because it's a very, very deep project I started. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? I mean, we know that you have a very sustainability for you is very important, and for your family is very important. You have a unique way of approaching the organic and biodynamic way of working. Can you just explain how you work and how you treat your vines and what makes it special?
What I didn't tell, that in '79, the first year we started, my father, as one of the first producer worldwide, decided to convert the winery to at that time organic, and later in the 80s to biodynamic viticulture. So we have more than 40 years of experience in this area. Obviously, we do not work in an organic way just for business, but it's far deeper than doing only business. It's part of our family, of our philosophy, and of our life. So every decision we try to find and try to make is always led by this holistic approach to what we try to do. And organic or biodynamic are a constant, how can I say, constantly giving us the background and to our thinking, to our working. Technically, I wouldn't really do it differently than the most of our other biodynamic producers, but we do from the different preparates, the 7 different preparates. We do all of them. We do the compost. We do the 500 and the 501 preparations on all our properties. The way of winemaking is obviously very influenced by these kind of approaches. So the wines itself are always made only by the forces coming from the vineyards. Yeah, I don't know how deep I should go in this particular argument.
But what's interesting about you and your family's approach is you've always had quite an individual way of working and of thinking, and that certainly comes through in the wines. And obviously in Montalcino, I'm sure when you got there, it wasn't particularly organic, shall we say, and now it's a lot of estates that are organic or biodynamic. I mean, do you see that as a good thing, that sort of change in Montalcino, the region as a whole, or are you just still just focused on what you and your family are doing?
No, definitely, I'm very happy about the evolution in Montalcino. I definitely share, and yeah, every single new organic or biodynamic production, because it's the way our modern world has to think to give a contribution to the whole development. And I remember '96 when we started, there were just one small other organic producer who started a year earlier than us. It was Salicuti. And nowadays we have, I guess, 50%, more than 50% of organic or biodynamic producers. No, it's time, and it is good to see that Montalcino, such a great terroir, has understood this very important step to do, and the motivation, the purpose from why they decided it should be second. Imagine 100% Montalcino or organic or biodynamic. It would be great. So everybody could by the time, because it's always a problem of generation. By the time we could always speak at a certain level the same language. Great. I'm happy with that.
Got a question about the markets. What are your main markets for your Tuscan wines?
Yeah, main markets are North American market from Mexico, US, and Canada. Then Central Europe. The Scandinavian part is very great, and Italy itself. Obviously, Italy with our 2 main regions, which are Alto Adige and Tuscany, as a main focus. Obviously, as a Brunello producer, you have a worldwide market. We are selling to Japan, China, Australia, Peru, Brazil, but they are a smaller market. Main focus is North America, Central Europe, Scandinavia, and Italy at the moment. Still looking for a new UK importer, because we lost our old a couple, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Brexit has helped, to be honest. So that the UK market may be a little bit tricky for a while. Final question. Do you and your family have any more plans for more acquisitions of vineyards, or are you happy with the vineyards you have at the moment?
No, there are definitely no plans for more acquisition. We are right now in empowering our marketing to give the right value to our product, because we have several projects going on. As I said, the Brunello Crew project, another project which is called Timeless, which is a game with in the cellar, only yeasts, even always adding new yeasts, and giving value to what we are doing since a long time, but also giving value to all the new projects we have. So focusing on best marketing to get out more for what we are already producing.
Okay, another question. I mean, when you're in the market, when you present your wines, do you just talk about the vinification and the family history, or do you also talk about your love for environmental coherence, shall we say? Because your family's always been very environmentally aware and ahead of the game. What's your approach in the market, your marketing approach?
Very, very, very good question. I like this because it's a little bit tricky. You might understand that we are on the market now for maybe nearly 42 years, and we experienced all kind of trends, all kind of problems, critics, and we had in our history up and downs, different strategies. Right now, we are not anymore only focusing on on environmental approach, because we think it's so deeply already part of our patrimoine, would say the French guy of our package. So we are trying to give more value at the contents we are producing, and more on the quality we are really producing, the different kind of quality. And who wants more insight, knowledge about our biodynamic approach, we are always open to give our knowledge to different persons who wants to know it, but it's not our main focus right now. Maybe also because the 50% of Montalcino producers are organic, so you have to deliver something else. But our range of contents is so huge. So just with you in 20 minutes, I can tell you just so little. So it's hard for us.
Got another little question, because your way of, you don't really make a lot of noise about your environmental initiatives, but your approach is unique to the organic and biodynamic way of doing things. Could you just explain a little bit about how you see that, and why is it important that you do it your own way? You don't follow, say, Rudolf Steiner's complete recipe for biodynamics. You've got a few things that you make completely unique to your family.
We are following Rudolf Steiner's ideas, definitely. What we do for our individual thing is we are adding our homeopathy knowledge, which is a special thing of my father. He's very inside. Maybe somebody knows that we had a homeopathic producing enterprise. We sold it 2 years ago. Very huge thing, but the knowledge we still bring it to our activities. Could be in the vineyards, could be in the cellar. Still a little flacon in my pocket. Homeopathy is a very huge force, very huge energy if you handle it in the right way, and if you combine it to other forces. Okay, that's very important. What we understood in the last 30 years, it's an additional help to empower the vines or the plants or even humans, but should always combine to something else, which would be the same way natural, but helps you as well. So the unique way would be, could you tell you the little story of the right now? It's very Le Notue. I can't remember the name in English. The problem of the Notue, there are earworms, I guess, or something with worms, the kind of worms. Right now they're coming out always beginning of the new vintage, they are eating the little buds on the vines. So you're gonna lose your whole crop, because as you know, on the first leaves you have your grapes on. The vine wouldn't die, but because the second bud would restart and give you the leaves, but 80 or 90% less crop, less grapes. So what we're doing right now, we are spraying our nosode preparation, homeopathic preparation, which we did 2-3 years ago, which we made 2-3 years ago, which is a preparation out of these burned earworms and homeopathically diluted. So it gives back the information to the vineyards to automatically react to this insect, to this problem. So this is kind of approach we use. You can see some videos on our website where we explain it a little bit closer. Yeah.
So I mean, do your neighbours? I mean, as you know better than anybody, probably when you arrived in Montalcino, the idea of organic and biodynamic was just not spoken about, and now around about 50% or 40% of the estates there are organic, with some biodynamic ones as well. Do you feel more accepted now with your environmentally cautious way of working, or do you just not worry about what anybody says? You just get on with what you and your family like doing best, and that's all you care about. What's your take?
If I well understand you, on a certification level, we are the same as our colleagues. They are organic certified or biodynamic certified. Okay, you follow certain rules and you have to respect them. On a pragmatic or practical sense or way of thinking, we are constantly adding new or trying to add new approaches, because Rudolf Steiner were living in the 1920s, and for sure there is space for improving or developing new approaches, and we are constantly adding a new thing. And if this would differentiate us from our colleagues, up to you to decide. But no, we are not the winery which is only following some recipes from the organic or biodynamic control organism. No, definitely not. Very often we have to discuss our newer approach with our certification organism, but no, it should be something of vibrant and in constant evolution. So I don't know if I exactly answer your question.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, your family's always had a very pragmatic way of working and finding what makes you happy and what makes your vineyards happy. And you're always thinking about trying things. And sometimes in the organic or biodynamic arena, people are worried about doing that. They want to stick to the same old formulas. So it's nice to hear that you and your family are being innovative and looking towards the future with an open mind, and that's very, very important. So, Hayo, I want to say thanks very much to you for coming in today, speaking with us, telling us about your family. Very interesting that you've got vineyards in two completely different parts of Italy, and you have a bespoke way of farming all of those plots in those different areas. And that's why your vines have got a very strong sense of individuality. Thank you so much, and stay safe, and best wishes to your family.
Thank you. I hope to see you next time to Corte Pavone.
Listen to the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Himalaya FM, and more. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the show. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. Until next time, cin cin.